Welcome to Fallout 76. This is Jim. In this video, we're going to take a look at the Fallout 76 Milepost 0 release notes that we got yesterday, September the 3rd, 2024. Now, of course, we're just coming off a huge update download on the Xbox Series X, and mine was about right around handy to 96 gigabytes, which is quite a good size. So I did take a look here at the Bethesda.net, and this is where you can find this information if you so wish and read it at your own leisure. But I thought there's quite a bit of stuff in here, and there's a lot of information, so I thought I'd make a video and just kind of go over it with you. And just to give you a word for warning, before I start reading this stuff, I have been told in the past by people that I've worked with, when I start reading to them, it's like nappy jammy time, so if you do fall asleep, I apologize. All right, Fallout 76, Milepost 0 release notes. We hope that gives you enough time to work through the new legendary crafting system and make sure you're prepared to stake your claim on Skyline Valley when the new caravan and outpost systems are released. Update highlights: legendary crafting, craft your ideal weapon and armor. With this update, take on crafting that gives you more control over the mods that you are legendary items. Best builds: submit, visit, and rate camps from across the wasteland for all to see. Vendor history log: turning customers are key to find out who is buying from your vendors and make sure you give them a nice wave when you see them around Appalachia. Start your own caravan. Later this month, you'll be able to protect your caravan from raiders and creatures alike as you make deliveries around Skyline Valley. So just an FYI on all three of these. So I did make a video today on legendary crafting, first look, and of course I made a video yesterday on best builds. So you can check those videos out if you so wish. Both videos are timestamped. Let's keep going here. Update version 1.7.14.15. Fallout 76 overall file size is getting smaller. Thanks to the work of our tech team, we now expect the total size of Fallout 76 to be around 95 gigabytes with some variants for different platforms. To reach this new size, all players will have to re-download the game. This is why you may notice the update size for Milepost 0 is larger than normal. Thanks in advance for your patience. Please note, you do not need to uninstall the game to receive the Milepost 0 patch. You will notice a large update that you'll have to download. The platform you're playing on will do the rest. That is definitely what happened yesterday. I was at work, just texted my son to make sure that the console was on. It updated itself, and that's the way I have it set, and it just did it itself. And it was just seamless, basically. Check the download size. So again, there's your download sizes there. Pretty accurate, I would say. Legendary crafting. We are excited to introduce the new iteration of legendary crafting that gives you more direct control over the legendary mods that appear on your legendary items, or you can start swapping legendary mods onto your gear. You'll need to obtain the mod you want to craft in one of two ways: trading for the mod with other players, scrapping legendary items with the desired mod on it. Every time you scrap a legendary item, you'll get legendary script. You have a chance to receive legendary mods in the form of crafting items. There's also a chance you will permanently learn on how to craft one of the mods on the item you scrap too. Those loosened legendary mods can be traded with other players. Once you craft that mod onto an item, the item becomes character bound, meaning it cannot be traded, sold, nor dropped in the world. Once you obtain your desired mod, you can head over to your armor and weapons workbench, attach it to a legendary item in exchange for legendary script. Each time you replace the mod on an item, the cost to replace will increase. If you're lucky enough to learn how to craft this mod, head over to your Tinker's Workbench to craft it. Crafting costs will vary depending on the mod. Most require legendary mods and various other items to craft that you find around the wasteland. To aid the exploration of the new mod combinations, we have relaxed legendary mod restrictions on weapons. We're excited to see what you craft. So again, we did discover this during the video I made earlier today, and you can check that out. It's all timestamped, so you don't have to watch the struggles. I've kind of going through that. And we did end up learning, after scrapping several weapons and armor, that we actually able to learn 1-star troubleshooting. And once we were able to craft that 1-star troubleshooting mod at the Tinker's Workbench, we're able to put that on either the weapon or armor, and it's pretty awesome. I thought it was a great idea. So you can check out that video. You can try it out yourself. If you can see how much stuff I crafted. I only ended up with that 1-star troubleshooting mod, so it may take a little while for some folks. Legendary cores discontinued. In August, we announced that legendary cores will be discontinued as we consolidate the currencies used in legendary crafting. This means legendary cores will no longer be usable across Appalachia when you log in after the download patch, which is yesterday, September 3rd, 2024. Any remaining legendary cores will be converted into legendary script at a 1-to-1 conversion ratio. That was pretty seamless as well. Best Builds. Best Builds is a new social system that allows you to submit, visit, and raid camps. Camp with the most votes will be shared and populated through the wasteland for all players in adventure mode to see. Also be able to visit these amazing creations and enjoy the comforts, design, and unique taste of Builder has in store for its visitors. While visiting, if you appreciate the Builder's camp, you can show your support by leaving a like. I hope this allows the dedication player builders an opportunity to show off their creations as well as inspire other players to create and submit their own best builds. Now, submitting your camp. Once you have a camp that you would like to show off to the wasteland, you can submit your camp through the best build submission option. It's found by opening the camp slots list on the paper map, selecting the camp you wish to submit. Once you have entered the submission window, you'll be able to take a few photos and tag your camp with the appropriate identifiers and to help make it stand out from the crowd. Once you are happy with your camp is represented, you can submit the best build. The best build will be added to a list of other player-created best builds. If you have to make changes to your best build, you can easily resubmit the newly remodeled camp without losing any likes previously earned. You can resubmit your best build by going to the Manage Best Builds option, also found Activate Camp Slots list onto the paper map. Visit. Once your travels in the wasteland, you'll notice a few locations on the blue ribbon on the paper map on the compass. There are player-created best builds. You will be able to fast travel to these camp in the same as you would to any camp. While visiting, you can take time to sit down, relax, and enjoy the experience the builder has in store for you. Do not delay checking out the camp that piques your interest. Best builds rotate in and out every hour. Okay, interesting. That's interesting. I didn't even know about that. Rate. If you happen to find the best builds that your fancy, feel free to show your support to the builder by giving them a like. You can like a best build by going to the best build icon on the paper map and selecting like. Giving the builder a like will help show other players that this camp is indeed a best build. So definitely you can check out that video that I made yesterday on best builds. Of course, we are still learning about how this works, but I find myself that when you get in the area of a best build, it pops in from the right-hand corner of the screen. It says that you are in the area of a best build. And I believe you actually have to be at that person's camp in order to give it a like. All right, so just an FYI. And someone made a mention in the comments from that video that they have noticed that for the best builds, their vendors are not able to interact with. And I noticed that myself, that the best builds that show up on the map, their vendors are not showing up. Like, you know how it would have that little green vendor icon at the bottom of the camp icon? They won't show up either. So I'm not too sure if that's a glitch, but we'll definitely see as the weeks go on to see what that's all about, but just an FYI. All right. This one here is a good one too. Vendor history log. Learn about the hottest item at your camp vendor with the vendor history log, accessed from the paper map on the vendor. This log shows what the items were sold, their price, and who bought it. The vendor history log only stores transcript that happened during the current play session. After your session ends, the log will be cleared if you refresh the fresh log when you start playing again. So basically what that means is that, let's say you're on a server and a few people go to your camp, they buy a couple things, and you're able to access it by clicking on your camp icon, and then you can, I believe it's at the bottom, it'll show a vendor history log, and it'll show who was at your camp and what they bought basically. But then if you server hop, all right, if you server hop to another server, that kind of disappears, right? So you won't see that, so it doesn't follow you along. So just an FYI on that. That's what I've noticed. Bump in the road arriving later this month, right on, Jim? Near the border of the Skyline Valley, you'll come across the ruins of an abandoned headquarters once owned by the Blue Ridge Caravan Company. They have been challenging time operating within the presence of the storm, but luckily for them, you arrive. Seasoned traveler of the region, well visited in all forms of combat and even forms of diplomacy. Although that will not work here, the company decides to give you franchising rights, jeepers, to start your own caravan branch under their flag. Once set up, you'll escort caravans across the Shenandoah region and recruit a strong crew of varying professionals. This crew will help you build your own personal outpost where new rewards await you. While you are traveling across the Skyline Valley, make sure you take a beat to help your fellow aspiring business dwellers with their own caravans. Events, public teams, bonuses apply for caravan events, and helping someone else get you in the back of starting your own caravan that makes them quicker. So I believe what they mean by that is, of course, I think a lot of people were expecting this right off the hop, but again, it's not coming until later September, so just an FYI. And but basically, once we find out what this route is in the Shenandoah region of the Skyline Valley, basically, I think what the idea is, if you have your camp, and then you have your turrets and stuff, and basically when these caravans go down the road and your camp's along the road, and you can, with your camp will, help them and their caravans by getting rid of enemies. If you have your turrets up and traps and stuff, such like that. So just an FYI on that. But again, that's coming later this month. Right, we have the Season 18 Country Roads, and of course, all you have to do is go under the Season Pass on the main page. You can check to see what rewards there are. I did take a look at the rewards yesterday, and they're kind of lackluster, something similar to Season 17. There are some items on there that I am interested in. I would say maybe about 3 or 4 items I am, interested in for sure. But we'll go through it together. And those of you who don't know, I do daily, weekly challenges to help people get score, and I give tips all throughout those videos as well. Give you many chances of where to go and find stuff, so you can check those videos out if you so wish. If you're struggling with the season pass, but you can definitely check out my videos. Combat Rebalance Milestone 0 continues to support. We started in Skyline Valley to update our combat systems. This patch, we are focusing on the changes to fire and poison damage and how the damage over time, DOT, effect works. Also, more rebalancing for creatures and many other challenges. There are a lot of dig into, so grab a cup of coffee or dig into it. Player weapons, fire/poison weapons and mods. Fire poison damage will typically include a DOT effect. Again, DOT is damage over time, with fire damage trending towards shorter durations and higher damage per second DPS, with poison trending towards longer duration and higher overall damage. The following weapons, armor, and mods have been updated to align with this fire and poison damage adjustment, paired with the creature adjustments further below. This generally represents an increase to damage dealt, and it gives a huge list of weapons and armor. Just an FYI. I'm not going to read every single one of these, but that's all in order. And again, if you can always check the Bethesda.net website if you want to kind of go back to the video if you so wish. So there's additional weapons and armor adjustments there. As you can see there, the Cremator is a big one. Reduce the damage over time for the Cremator burn to account for the scaling with the weapon damage bonus. So a lot of people might be a little upset about that bad boy. Right, creature balance, like the adjustment made in the Skyline Valley update. The following creatures have been update health, resistance, and damage or goals to smooth out their difficulty from low to high level play, making them a reasonable threat for all players. Be sure to try some of the update fire and poison weapons against these creatures, as there are more contrast in their resistance to each damage type. Right, so there's a couple aliens there, nice. Lots of other scorched beasts in there, Snallygaster. The Ogawai. Alright, creature weapons. Weapons used by the following creatures have been updated, like the updates to fire and poison damage on player's weapons, creatures' weapons with fire damage will typically have a DOT, which has a higher DPS, and weapons with poison damage will typically have a DOT, which deals more overall damage per hit. Right, so there's a little list there. Even includes, spit attacks, so by certain creatures, so FYI on that. We got perk changes. Fascinated increases damage resist from all sources based on your end stat. Thirst Quencher increases action points while not diseased based on your end stat. Iron Stomach, base damage reduction while not diseased based on your end stat. Natural Resistance, increase your energy, fire, cryo, and poison resistance while not diseased based on your end stat. Okay. Region bosses and fallen creatures have had adjustment on how incoming damage is reduced. Primarily affects cases with VATS, critical attack, and damage over time. DOT affects the bypass a portion of the intended damage reduction. Scorched Beast Queen, Wendigo Colossus of Earl. Ultrasight Titan. Bugs, fixes, and improvements. Camp. Pretty big list there. Mothman Windchime now correctly displays in the atomic shop. Fixed an issue with the chattering teeth flare not appearing on the Tinker's bench or placed on display. Fixed an issue with the plank partitions and junk walls not appearing in the build menu and being unable to edit. Fuzzy Mothman plushie no longer faces backwards when placed in display cases. Fixed an issue with the pillar display requiring wood to be built despite being made of stone. Fluorescent lamp in the ice glue refrigerated display case appear to shine when not powered. Okay. Fixed an issue with the Fortress, right on, that got me again. Wall walk posts can be attached to the same attached point. Fixed an issue where two fortresses fences can be attached to the same attached point. Comic shop purchase from the build menu will again quickly give a player a confirmation prompt before completing the purchase. Surfboard shelves can now be placed in your camp. Reclaimed fence is now correctly available in the camp build option, unless you have it unlocked, of course. Wow, quite a bit of combat here. Made an adjustment to damage modifiers for creative weak points, result in additional damage dealt. Creatures and weapons have lower damage per hit used. Damage over time affects how scale with bonus to weapon damage. Addresses a series of inconsistencies with how certain damage affects primary damage over time, dealing with incorrect damage types and or untyped damage without a corresponding resistance. Okay. Whatever, game. Address an issue with damage over time effects dealt by players would not scale to match the creature's level. Fix an issue with certain effects such as damage over time and Vampire's Legendary mod could stack with additional multiple times simultaneously on a single target. This commonly occurred with shotguns. It also occurred on using two-shot Legendary mod and the multi-shot Cremator mod in VATS. Alright. Address an issue with DOT damage dealt by NPCs could be lower than intended. Fix an issue with could prevent the poison aura of a Strangler Heart power armor from affecting nearby enemies. Adjustments to how damage increases from perks are applied. This will generally result in increase in damage dealt to targets with a higher resistance, especially for DOT effects. Melee weapon DOT damage now scales with strength. Fix an issue with the Grenader perk that results in explosions scaling up twice as large as intended. Fix an issue that could cause some explosions to be scaled smaller or larger than intended. A little bit more here. Effects with increased explosion damage, demolition expert, etc. should now increase the damage dealt by DOT effects from the explosions. Addressed an issue where the danger cloud mutation could deal more damage than intended. Addressed an issue with the DOT damage could persist on a player when entering the DBNO, down but not out state. Okay, that's interesting, resulting in a player dying immediately instead of being able to revive. Okay, interesting. Address an issue with the bonus of DOT damage with strength for melee weapons and perk could be higher than intended. Addresses a display issue with the description text for a Strangler Heart power armor's set bonus. All right. We got gameplay here. Exchange how explosive bullets mod, how it interacts with various weapons. Fix an issue with the light 'em up plasma Gatlin flickering in front neon tubes while in first person. Okay. Fix an issue with the harpoon gun's crosshair disappearing during the precise aiming of the first person view. Fix an issue with the cultist monarch mask. Did not state its protection against damage and disease from airborne hazards in the description. Okay. That's something I think that was just assumed. Damage from fire and poison, damage over time effect should now be properly reduced by fire and poison resistance. Improved chainsaw durability, that's good. Improved effects will now persist when players exit world and returns. Fix an issue with adding a Blue Ridge Guardman paint, removes legendary mod prefixes from the armor's name. Okay. Players will be asked if they want to change servers when logging into a nuked zone. Players with an issue with a broken ProSnap Deluxe camera item can no longer be looted from the Taurus corpses and toolboxes if the player has completed a bucket list quest and deleted the camera. Okay, so that's interesting. We've been asking a lot of questions about this one lately because I made a video a few weeks ago on how to obtain the broken ProSnap Deluxe camera from either Ansel or Anne. And you can check that video out if you so wish. So there has been a lot of people asking about how do I get this camera because I had accidentally dropped it or deleted it or whatever. So give that a try. Give that a try for those of you who have done that, and go to one of the Taurus corpses and see if it will pop up for you. Let me know in the comments. So that'd be good information to know. Fixed an issue with what could cause power armor and inanimate incorrectly while using the Brotherhood salute emote. Extended the no camp zone around Meat Week to prevent camps from impacting the event. Okay. Fixed an issue preventing duplicate pan drops from holiday gifts. Okay. Fixed an issue with preventing corpses from turning into goo piles after being hit by a plasma arrow critical shot. All right, interesting. Wow. Keeps on going here. General. Fixed a crash when fast traveling while camera is half underwater. Fixed an issue with the gain XP challenge given an incorrect amount of score. So that's good because you have got a couple of those, especially during the recent Fashnet events. We did get a couple of those gain XP, and I think it was only like 35 score that we get from that. And yeah, that's good. A few daily, weekly challenges will now be auto-tracked upon logging into the server. Okay, which I did notice that yesterday when I was logging in. I'm thinking, why are these tracked already? So that okay. Fix an issue preventing the V63 jetpack skin from being applied to the Union Power armor. Stability improvements for PlayStation platforms. That's good. So a few of you who play on PlayStation, as mentioned in the comments, that it freezes quite frequently, and it's a little on the annoying side. And I definitely feel your pain. And so hopefully that helps you folks out. Because when you look at the Bethesda support and the Twitter page there, it's a lot of it is from PlayStation folks talking about that. So that's good if they fix that. Quests. Seismic activity. Fixed an issue with could cause a crash on certain consoles. Safe and sound. Fixed an issue with enemies get stuck during encounter waves. Okay. Oldest trick in the book. Player will no longer lose cultist outfit when engaging in combat outside of the quest area. The powerhouse of the cell fixed an issue with the cause shadows to continue attacking players during the conversation with Hilda. Powerhouse of the cell fixed an issue that could cause a soft lock when ejecting serums into the late sedated lost. Okay. Powerhouse of the cell fixed an issue causing required enemies not to spawn. Okay. There has been some issues around those new quests that we get down in the Skyline Valley region, and I'm not too sure if that fixes the issues that I've noticed in the comments. Okay. I have become death. Players who have previously completed the quest but did not receive achievement can now receive the achievement by launching a nuke again. Okay. Blue Ridge branded iron fixed an issue that could cause a unique skin to be unobtainable if removed from the weapon. Ally thicker than water. Fix an issue preventing Frankie from killing the Claw. Fix an issue with Audrey Stoltz. in dialogue inconsistencies, fix an issue that could cause players to lose Enclave class line after logging out, fixed an issue with quest marker for objective entering Vault 63 placement, fixed an issue that caused some players to get stuck when speaking to Alyssa during an unlikely invitation. Okay. I think that's one of the ones that people have been talking about in the past that is kind of broke, so hopefully that's fixed up for you folks. Fix an issue preventing the quest One of Us from appearing on the quest log. Eviction notice. Thank you for all the feedback around the change made to eviction notice during the public test server. Decided to revert the change we made to the legendary creature spawn rate in the PTS while we were spending more time investigating how we want to ensure all public events are rewarded. Okay, whatever that means. Okay, UI. Fix the display issue with the Pip-Boy Effects tab. Fix an issue where some icons were incorrectly in the Pip-Boy Effects tab. Items will indicate if they count as costume when inspected. Weapons will indicate classification information when inspected. Vendors, Giuseppe now sells mystery bobblehead boxes for 20 stamps. Okay, 6 per day. So of course, Giuseppe is in the White Spring Refuge. If you go to the main White Spring Refuge icon, and then you go inside, you'll be greeted by the robot there, the Mr. Handy. You go upstairs, hitting a right, go through the tavern, then you go through the medical bay, then you're in the big wide area around the responders. You take a left and you have that little store with Giuseppe and you have bubbles. All right. Known issues. The team is aware and are continuing to investigate reports on lag using the Pip-Boy. We thank you for your patience. Experience this issue, please contact customer support team so we can collect more information. And that's what I highly recommend to people. Like if you're having any issues at all in the game, and this is just my experience dealing with Bethesda support, they are very quick. They're very quick at answering you back. The only thing is you got to answer them back within four days of that email, I believe. But if you don't, that ticket gets deleted. But it's always good to kind of check your email when you send those tickets in. But it doesn't matter how silly it sounds. It's always good to kind of let them know what's going on with the game, right? Because if they don't know, then they don't have a chance to fix it. But that's what I highly recommend to you folks. But there you guys go. It's a lot of information. So we're just past 27 minutes here. But again, I did make a couple videos. You can check that out. Daily, weekly challenge videos. Daily challenge videos every single day. Weekly challenge videos every Tuesday. And if you guys are having issue with the scoreboard the season pass, I should say, Jeepers, scoreboard, Jim. See, I've been playing this game for so long, it just automatically says scoreboard. But I think most of you know what I'm talking about. So there you guys go. Hope this video helped you. Please like, subscribe, and share when you have the chance. It really helps me out. I'd like to thank my channel members, Artistically Arranged, Boogaloo Bronson, Michael Edwards, Nigel Wiffen, Heather, Whitetribe, Robco, Mr. Shelton, Drake Stamps, Mr.Prince, NotMeButMeYesMeThatsMe, G33K. Thank you all so very much, and I hope you all have a nice day.